Hey, everybody, and welcome to chapter number 2 of Cognitive Psychology. I wanted to very quickly walk you through this chapter in terms of what we are going to be looking at this week, and also a couple of reminders about discussions and things like that. So, I hope that your classes have been going well. I've noticed that y'all have been pretty active on the discussion forum so far, which is great. And I, especially on the first week, I love seeing kind of everybody's different experiences and where everybody's backgrounds are from, and things like that. So that's really cool. I really appreciate you sharing that information with us, especially because this is an online class. It can be hard to feel like you get to know other people. But in other ways, it does feel like, at least to me, it feels like you get to know them in some ways a little bit better than you do in other face-to-face classes, because you spend so much time just looking at the content of someone's communication instead of their body language or what they look like and things like that in the classroom, or how they behave in the classroom. So it's cool to see people, and get to know them just on their discussions. All right, so anyways, so chapter 2 is going to be a chapter that still, in my opinion, feels a little bit like setup. It feels a little bit still like we are getting ready to talk about cognitive psychology. I really feel like we get into that in chapter 3 when we talk about perception, so we're not quite there yet. But in chapter 2, we are going to be setting up a lot of these things that we're going to be talking about all semester. Particularly in this chapter, we're going to be talking a good bit about neuroimaging and about how we study the brain. So this chapter I've broken out into 3 different videos. One video about lesion studies, one video about neuroimaging studies, and then one video about how we might use neuroscience to understand the brain. So basically, how can we incorporate these other ideas into how can we incorporate it into an experiment or a psychological research study. So you can find those there. And again, the way that I would recommend tackling this is to have the lecture slides up while you are reviewing these videos, making notes maybe. If I stress anything, make sure to make note of that. And then whenever you're done with that, read through the chapter, take the quiz, and then do the discussion. For this week's discussion, really what I'm looking for is for you to bring what interests you to the table. So if you are interested in developmental psychology, here I'm asking that you pick out a research question and then find a way to use neuroimaging to better understand that research question. So let's say that you're interested in developmental psychology. Pitch me an idea of a research question that you would be interested in. If you're interested in working with children, maybe it is you're interested in how children regulate their emotions, or how children perceive other children, or how children interact whenever nobody else is around. And so, taking those questions, I want you to try to think about how you would test that using neuroimaging. And I'm going to ask you to pick out one of the neuroimaging techniques. We're going to go over, I think, 3 or 4 of them in the slides here. But pick out which one you would want. Give me a brief kind of outline of what that experiment might look like, and then why you would use that, as opposed to another strategy. So, for example, if you want to study children and you have an idea about how to use fMRI for that, then tell me why you would use fMRI and not use EEG or PET imaging. Or if you go with PET, to tell me why you would use that and not fMRI and not EEG. And so there's not exactly really a right answer, but there could be a better answer than others, depending on your argument for why you would use that method compared to others. So the more detail you can add, the better. And I think that's pretty much it for this chapter. I'm going to be opening up chapter 3 very soon, probably this week. But remember that the only thing that's going to be due at the end of this week, that Friday at 5 p.m., is just the chapter 1 material. The chapter 2 and 3, that's going to be due the end of next week, which would be, that would be the 20th, whenever that's due. So you have plenty of time to do all of those things. And so I might go ahead and open up chapter 3, so that way, in case you do like to work ahead, you can go ahead and tackle that ahead. So that way you don't have to worry about cramming or worry about, I stress out about these kinds of things. Also, a reminder, whenever Chapter 3 does go open, that the research article here is about Chapters 3 and 4, and so just check that out whenever you get a chance. Don't let that research article sneak up on you, and let me know if you have any questions about that. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I will see you in the discussion forums. See you later. Bye.